everyone, Janice this side and welcome to AI Central. AI world is once again shaken up with the launch of Deepseek AI's R1 and V3 models. Back then, when ChatGPT was launched, everyone were amazed at its understanding and answering capabilities in human natural language. Now, after the ChatGPT is launched, other LLMs like GPT-4, Anthropic's Claude, Google's Gemini were released, and people started to integrate such LLMs into their applications. Now, in 2025, DeepSeek has launched its models at lowest prices, and it has again gained the attention of users across the world. And the low pricing model reminds me of a situation in telecom industry in India where Jio started offering free services in 2016 while competitors like Airtel and Vodafone were hiking prices of mobile data for 4G and 3G services. Now, as Jio was offering free services, so they were eventually compelled to lower their prices, and they also faced customer churn. So likewise, DeepSeek is the Geo of AI world, which launched its model at comparatively lower prices. Now let us see the working overview of DeepSeek AI's R1 and V3 models. The key breakthrough for R1, that is reasoner model, it is like the capability of this particular model is equivalent to OpenAI's O1 model and is trained using pure reinforcement learning without having perfectly human labeled data. And the base model for R1 is DeepSeek V3, which can be efficiently scaled up to 671 billion parameters, and out of these parameters only 37 billion parameters gets activated per token. So this in turn helps to maintain balance and efficiency. The training method for DeepSeek R1 is pure reinforcement learning, including GRPO, which is group relative policy optimization without labeled data. And for V3 model, it utilizes mixture of experts method with reinforcement learning, which means that when there is some input given to the model while training, there are say expert 1, expert 2, up to n number of experts, and finally there is the output layer. So there are internal many more layers, but on overview if I give, so when we give training data to the model and there are these experts, so whichever experts give the best answer, that is selected as the output and that is preserved by the model. Other answers are neglected. So it refers to mixture of experts method. And further, V3 includes supervised fine tuning and other optimization strategies for its training. And the training phrases includes for R1 are, they start by giving some kind of data to the model, which is cold start fine tuning, and it is a multi-stage process including this fine tuning, then pure reinforcement learning, then rejection sampling, in which the samples that are not giving comparatively proper answers and are less coherent to the other comparative samples, so that particular samples get rejected by the model itself by training. Then supervised fine tuning and final reinforcement learning. So these are the training phases for R1. And for V3 it includes like full pre-training considering 14.8 trillion tokens with supervised fine tuning and reinforcement learning. So this is the working overview. There are research papers for DeepSeek's R1 and V3 models. I will just add it to the description box. You can go ahead and have a look at them. Next, there are pros and cons. So let us first read the pros. It includes, it has comparatively the best pricing, which is at lowest comparing to existing LLMs. Then the reasoning capacities of these models are commendable. Whatever this particular model gives the answer in the final, so before that they think, and whatever they think is displayed before the final answer. So whenever we write any question or say give any input to this particular, for example, reasoner model, so before generating the final answer they think, and whatever they are thinking is displayed in think tag. We will just see that in small practical demo ahead. So that is the one of, say, major capabilities of this model. Then they are allowing us to have 64K context length. They provide faster response. Yes, it is also possible that when there is some more critical thinking required, they take bit more time, and otherwise they give faster responses. And yes, it is the time for competitors to rethink their prices. There are pros and cons for every model, or say for everything in this particular world, but yeah, competitors need to rethink about the pricing, as this model has the lowest price and is the best, I can say, in terms of pricing. Next, the cons includes these models are comparatively less creative. They are not multimodal, and it means that we can only have conversation in text only. We cannot ask these models to generate image or say video or understand our audio likewise. So there is no multimodal support. Then yes, privacy concerns as it is a China based models that are as they are China based models, uh, data concern is there. And one more thing which I need to highlight over here is that for some kind of questions this model do not give answers. If there is some critical question around the world politics or some particular area, violated area, or say controversial area over the world, so for this particular queries these models do not answer. They think but they don't give the final answer, and they have limited real world updates. I have used Grok over here. We first need to install Grok, and to generate the API key, I will just mention in description box the link of Grok platform. You need to copy it somewhere, because once it is generated and that pop-up is closed, you won't be able to see the full API key. So note it down somewhere. I have allowed this particular secret SC access for this notebook, and this is the value. So the same name is supposed to be written over here. We can get it like this and store it in API key variable. Now this is just to check if my API key is loaded or not. Further, this is a small part of the code, which is, if you are using LLMs, it is probably the same like we use. And here we have passed the API key to Grok and assigned it to the client. Then we are requesting the completion, and the model here is Deepseek R1 Distill L Llama 70 billion model. So this particular model is distilled version, and is utilizing Llama 70 billion as its teacher model, and the distillation is done to this particular LLM, and the student model is Deepseek's R1 model. And here we are next passing the messages and assigning the role of user, and our question is in the content part, and my question is what are large language models, and these are the parameters over here. So as it is distilled one, we can pass such parameters in this particular completion request. Now whenever I ran this code, here we have think tag, so we can just read it out. When I asked what are large language models, so whatever model is thinking, it is displayed. Okay, so I am trying to understand what large language models are from the previous explanation. So all this is done, and there is end to this thinking process. And then start, once this tag ends, after that whatever text we have is the answer to our question. So this is the small, the short practical. So the final thoughts for this particular topic is AI pricing revolution is, say, somewhat there. Then self-evolving reinforcement learning is the considerable strategy. Okay. Then privacy and geopolitical risks, market shift scenarios for the pricing part, which may be challenging to existing tech. Okay, so this was all about today's video. Do stay connected and follow AI Central for more such videos.